up? Pachaparo, YNet7. Thank you for tuning. The replay. Today, what I got for you is called Shame of Tongues. All right. So what we're going to do, right? We're going to get into this. We'll go over this little story I came across from antiquity, and we're going to pull this together, and then I'm going to pull a tarot card at the end and see if there's a message for some of you that may be experiencing this in your own lives day to day. The card pulling will be from 8 Coins Tarot, Tattoo Tarot. All right, so there's a story, right? You guys know I'm a fan of reading and stuff and studying, so I think you might like this too. So I'm sharing it with you. There's like this kingdom, right? And let's just say it was some people, some powerful people. Some people are into kings, some people are into deities, so that everybody can get the message without compromise. We'll just say it was some powerful people, all right? So there's a kingdom or a nation that was small, and this one entity, deity, person, king, goddess, God, whatever you want to look at it, right? Whatever makes sense to you, was put into power and brought the kingdom from here to here, right? Brought it from here to here. That's what's going to be important. I'm just go straight to the important stuff with y'all. So in doing that over time, you know, the kingdom nation got rich, the people got fed, everybody was living good. So of course you gotta have somebody that's like, you know, we don't like this, right? So we don't like him. It's something wrong, blah, 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 blah. So they start doing that, right? Talking bad about him. And eventually other people, it's actually a way I could tie this into the last video with the equations. Whereas, you know, once people, whatever you focus on your track. So when you they only focus on the part that they're interested in. So of all the great things that, let's say that was done for the nation by him, they found ways to talk negatively about him, and they focused on that. And they were going to town, you know, behind his back, talking about just lies. They were just lies, right? So the story says, right? They were just flat out lying. It wasn't even like they were telling the truth. Know that there's a difference between talking about the truth and just exaggerating it to make yourself look better or to manipulate others. But they were actually lying about him behind his back. So the big guy in the kingdom brought him down to the palace, said, hey, look, the court is speaking badly of you. They're talking really bad about you, you know. What can we do? What's going on? How can we resolve this? Said the guy in charge, right, in power. So he goes, well, you know, make an ebode, like an offering, and we'll have this festivity. We'll invite them all to celebrate, etc., etc., etc. So he said, I want you to prepare the world's greatest foods, and that's what we'll serve to them. So everybody gets the invite. They show up, and the announcement is made that they're there for the festivities. And what are we eating today? Asked someone, and the servants brought all the food out, covered dish style, you know, the whole shebang. And it was said, we are having beef tongue. And they said, well, why beef tongue? You know, that question came up, and their response was because the tongue is powerful. And everybody was like, oh, that's profound. That's magical statement. That's cheers to powerful beef tongue. Hooray. You know, so they start eating and going in. Everything's great. The festivity goes on. Dinner was lovely. Party's over. Everybody goes home. The bullshit behind the back continues. Talking bad about them, etc., etc., etc. They still all up in the castle, still talking their stuff. So the big guy brings them back down. Hey, man, look, they still talking bad about you. I can't control the words. What do you do? What do you want to do? How you want to play this? How you want to handle it? He said, you know what? The decision was made that we're going to have another abode, another festivity, and we're going to invite all the same people back again. So it goes down. They set it up. Everybody gets the invite. You know, who doesn't love free food, right? So they show up again. Servants bring out the covered dishes. They say, hey, the only difference what I forgot was to add this is that he said, this time I want you to prepare all the world's worst foods. The worst food in the world. So they announced, okay, last time, everybody's there at the dinner, and they said, okay, last time we had a feast and we ate the world's best food. That's what we ate. And you said it was beef tongue, and that was the world's greatest food, and we cheers to power of the tongue. What are we having this time? And the announcement was made that this time we're having the world's worst food. Absolutely the worst, right? And they were like, oh, you know, it was an outcry. You know, people of our status, how can we be eating the world's worst food? How dare they? Blah, 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 right? Well, they said, well, stop, hold. What are we having? The servants brought out the covered dishes again. Whole shebang. Bam. We're going to be having, again, beef tongue. Last week you said that beef tongue was the world's greatest food in the world because of the power and etc. How could it be also the world's worst food at the same time? Inquiry spilled over the table. The answer was because the tongue has the power to build as well as destroy. You see? And at that moment, all the people that have been talking smack, lying, manipulating about this person that took the kingdom from here up to here, they all found themselves in shame. And that is like the Aesop fable of, you know, how they went happily ever after that and didn't have any more conflicts of them lying behind the dude's back, the ruler's back, and supposedly the kingdom was all good, you know, after that. So I think that was a pretty good topic to bring to light because somebody's always going to hate on you, you know? There are always going to be people talking, you know what I'm saying? The question is, don't, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? How are you going to handle the situation? And is there a benefit that they can learn from as well as you? So in this case, they learned how shameful it was to be lying and the power of the tongue all in one rap. It's the magical thing about every time you point a finger at somebody, there's three more pointing back at you. So let's see if we can pull a card here. And maybe, because this is for you, maybe this will put something in perspective for you in your life right now, whoever's watching. I appreciate you tuning into this replay and getting some new things in here for you, mixing it up for y'all. So appreciate the support, the shares, and donations, etc. All right, let's see what we got here. Power of the tongue can also has the power to cause shame as well as building. And the card we have here is the Ace of Swords. Okay. Now, I'm going to read to you what this means here. But in the meantime, you guys enjoy that artwork and examine the card. See the clouds, crown. Okay. Here we go. So the sword suit is connected to the element of air, action, change, and freedom. So something's got to change so everybody can get their freedom in that situation, right? Generally deals with the mental world, decision-making, interactions with others, and thought processes. All right. So perspective, if we go back to my graph from equations versus variables, right? Interactions with others, how you see a person is all based on your perspective of them. You see? So all the lies they were telling, it kind of allowed people's perspective to be manipulated, you know, and because they were so ready and so eager to see the person in such a negative light, they ate it all up instead of like thinking, doing their own research, looking at the real truth of the situation. So the Ace of Swords comes as a burst of fresh air. It often appears suddenly and unexpectedly, but usually when we have been needing it the most. The Ace is swift and invigorating, a gust of wind sweeping us away from a period of stagnation and back into action. See, during that buildup of their conversation, there was no action, right? And people, when they were doing all the talking behind them, they a lot of times people perceive action as achievement. You see what I mean? This is why I get the statement, gangsters move in silence. And just like it's saying here, going back to the card, the Ace of Swords, the Ace is swift and invigorating, a gust of wind just sweeping us away from a period of stagnation. It often appears, I'm mixing this up for you so it makes sense, it often appears suddenly and unexpectedly. You see? So they were doing all this, brought them to the castle. Hey, look, man, eat up. We're having the world's greatest food. Bang. Oh, shit. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Then it's like, yo, fuck that dude. Right after that, right? So then he hit him with another one. Bam. You know what I'm saying? Because there was no action prior to this. Came with action. We were having the world's worst food this time. Bang. Out of nowhere. What? And then it wound up being the same dish that they said was the world's greatest food last week. Bam. Out of nowhere. Hits him. Now it all makes sense. You see what I'm saying? All right. Power of the tongue. So the man in the card closes his eyes, opens his mind, and lets his ideas lead his path. His sword cuts through the clouds below and holds his crown above his head. The sun comes through the air behind him and signifies the bright new ideas that have finally come to light his path. You see what I'm saying? So he closed his eyes. His eyes is closed in this, man. He didn't really care nothing about what the people were saying about him behind his back. He could care less. He know what he there doing. But the big guy in the kingdom said, hey, look, man, we got this public relations issue. We need to do a little PR work. You know, just like any artist or president or CEO, you know, they got an advisor coming to him saying, hey, man, look, we know you don't really care about this, but do a little PR work. All right. He's focused. His mind is open. So even with that, because his mind is open, when your mind is open, you're not gonna shut out the people. You're not gonna just slaughter the people. You're gonna give them the opportunity to see the light radiating behind you. And you have the mind to make the ability possible. So the sword cuts through the clouds and holds his crown above his head. You know what I mean? They put the fog up, right? They try to put the fog up on him. They were doing all this, trying to put the clouds up on him, right? He said, nah, we're going to show you the power of the beef tongue and your tongue. And we're going to cut through the clouds, and the crown's still going to be raised high because I'm backed by the light. See, the light, that's what he said. He said, I'm backed by the light. The light is the truth. Lies can't stand up against truth because the truth can either be won or lost. So allow the universe to send you a signal and open your mind to the answers you have been looking for. You can't rush the Ace of Swords, and you can't force it into your situation. It will come when it's time. So keep your eyes open for the opportunity. The new ideas you need will come in like a gust of wind, unexpectedly and quietly. If you keep your senses heightened, however, you will not miss it. Now let's go back to the equations video. If you didn't watch that, check it out. Equations versus variables. And you'll see whatever you focus on, you hear me talk about often the law of attraction, you will attract. So if you keep focused on your destination, the path will light up for you. Don't worry about what people are saying about you. Stay focused on your destination, on your goal. Keep your mind open, right? Keep your mind open. That's how you hold your crown up. Don't get caught up in the ego. You ain't got to slaughter nobody. They slaughter themselves. You see the tongue? It's in pieces. That's how they eat it. So let them find themselves in shame. Pasha Paro, YS7, thank you for tuning the replay.